Hello lovely people, as promised in my last video, today I'm giving you my current favourite 10 fragrances in my fragrance wardrobe. Please excuse my cold, I'm a bit stuffy, so my voice might sound a little irritating. So I have been doing this every 6 months or so for the last couple of years. This video will be in a playlist on my channel that you can watch, and you can have a look at previous top 10 videos that I've done, and in the description of those videos you'll be able to see how I've done this. It's really, I kind of think is more of a fun exercise for me to do every 6 months. But the interesting thing, and I won't go on for too long, the interesting thing is that I tend to have the same 4 or 5 fragrances in my top 10 for the last couple of years, and there always seems to be a couple of new ones come in, and there's no exception today. There's 5 new entries in this top 10 compared to the other one. So without further ado, let's go on to number 10. Alright, so last time at number 10 I had Slumber House's Or. This time around I have one from Francesca Bianchi, which I got earlier this year. This is a 2019 release. It is Etruscan Water. I have got a review of this up on my channel. This is, to me, wow, a beautiful, I would describe it as like a wet, stone, mossy, aquatic chypre, if that helps at all. But it's just a beautiful fragrance that I fell in love with immediately, and very close to her best, very close to my favorite release. That's Etruscan Water from Francesca Bianchi at number 10. At number 9, last time I did this list, was 34 Boulevard Saint-Germain, which is a perennial favourite of mine. This time around it's kind of been displaced in the top 10 by some new fragrances, and the one that's displaced it, in fact, is one of my, I think it was my most recent acquisition in terms of a bottle. I had tried this before and I had been lusting after a bottle for a long time. It is from Maison Dior. This is Vanille. Now, this vanilla dominant fragrances are not something I would normally fall in love with or go crazy about, but this is just something exceptionally out of this world in terms of a vanilla fragrance. Yes, there's vanilla in here, but there is so much more going on. The way it's blended with the spices, the booziness. There's a real, like, there's a kind of oiliness in this as well. And when I say that, one of my friends on social media, Gunmetal24 on Instagram, he or she described it best when they described it as like a fatty vanilla, and I'm not doing it any justice here, other than I really recommend, if you can sample this, then do. It's from Maison Dior, it's Vanille. At number 8, last time was Dior's Eau Sauvage Parfum. I still love that fragrance, but the fragrance that has come into number 8 on this list this time around was released way back in 1988 and is from the same house. And this was the surprise to me, but I have really been enjoying it a lot again. Dior Fahrenheit. This is a 2015 bottle. Yes, different from the original, and from what I read, even different from current versions, but I still enjoy this. To me, it's still every bit as original as it was when it was released over 20 years ago. Dior Fahrenheit. At number 7 in my last list was Papillon Artisan Parfums Salome. This time around it's another new release from 2019. 2019's been a pretty good year. And this, to me, given that the last fragrance was the number 8 fragrance was Fahrenheit, for me this is one of the most original things I've smelled in a long time. It's from designer Marc-Antoine Badois. I hope I pronounced that correctly. This is a 2019 release, Ganymede. I'm going to find it hard to describe this one, other than there is a lot of violet leaf here, which draws comparisons with Fahrenheit, but that's kind of where the comparisons end. This develops a lot, and there are mineral accords, there are earthy accords, there are ozonic accords. It's kind of a really abstract creation that has unbelievable performance, but just smells like nothing else on the market at the moment. And I'm so happy I have picked this up, and I also noticed a few other people are starting to talk about this fragrance again. This is my prediction, this should become a classic. Ganymede by Marc-Antoine Badois from perfumer Quentin Bisch. Okay, at number 6, my last list had this at number 1. It's my Forever Love 1740 by Histoires de Parfum. I've talked about this a lot on the channel, so I won't talk about it too much here, other than to say it's still my favorite kind of dirty, boozy, fruity leather, immortelle. Again, there's nothing like this. And that's, oh, wow. And you have to understand at this point that positions in the top 10 don't really matter that much. I do this because I've got a ranking program that I use, but even though that was number 1 last time and it's not this time, doesn't mean I love it less. There are other fragrances that I've been wearing more, that I might be enjoying more, and that's how I come to the 10 that I'm talking about today. At number 5, another one that's perennially in this list. This has dropped down a little bit, but again, no matter. Guerlain's Heritage Eau de Toilette. Spicy, patchouli, classic, masculine, oh, smell, beautiful. What can I say? It just smells good. It's just Guerlain, it's heritage. EDT, I have, EDP might be a little bit different but just as good, but I won't be without this fragrance. At number 4, Another Love. This is my probably most animalic on here, in that, well, animalic cumin, you get a sweaty vibe, you get lovely honey, which can have those facets. This is Maison Kurkdjian's Absolue pour le Soir. Again, I've got a review of this as well. Oh, boy. If you can get past that cumin, this is just magnificent. Now, number 3 for this list, I have the only fragrance that I don't actually have a full bottle of because I've got a large decant. This is, again, probably now my favorite amber of all time. It's a little bit different in that it's boozy, you know, as opposed to that kind of vanilla labdanum benzoin kind of amber that you normally get. It's Ambre Russe from Parfum d'Empire. This has always been in my top 5, always, and I don't see it moving out anytime soon. Well, we've come down to the last 2. This is a new entry into the top 10. It has been in my top 10 before, but recently there is a bit of sentimentality attached to this as well, but it is just it's my favorite rose fragrance, although a lot of people may not view it as a rose. I guess they do. Immortelle, spices, cloves. It's the incomparable La Mat from Mendita Rosa. Again, I have a review of this one, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. And again, if you can sample this, please do. La Mat at number 2 from Mendes. And now we come to the number 1. This has been a love at first sight for at least a couple of years now. It came into my top 10 in my last one, and this just gets better and better with every wear. Like it reveals something new of itself with every wear, and it just seems like it was created for my skin, and I love it. Under My Skin by Francesca Bianchi is my number 1 fragrance at the moment from my top 10 review. I almost get emotional every time I wear this and talk about it. You can believe the hype about Under My Skin and Francesca Bianchi. Other beautiful perfumes in the line, but this right now is unbeatable to me. Instant classic, and dare I say, a masterpiece. Under My Skin. Thank you for watching that, indulging me. I like to do it as a fun thing to do with my fragrance collection, keeps things interesting, and I like to share it with you. So let me know what you think, if you've tried any of those top 10 fragrances in the comments, and I'll see you all soon.